Alhamdulillah. So now that is the first explanation. Once you have gotten that the first explanation, let's go to how do we name this now. I said substitutive method, which is, I said we have how many substituents? 2, which is cyclopropyl and phenyl. Are we together? Then we couple up with what? Ether. What do you do when you have to use substitutive method? Please, especially those at 100 level, please listen. Those A-level students, listen. And those YX students, I think just a few questions they can ask you based on this one. Are we together? How am I communicating? All you need to do, you just pick this one substituent here, which is what? Cyclopropyl. Pick that one. Then add it with this ether. I'll tell you, when you add it with this ether, I'll tell you what would that be. And then you make this other substituent, you make it a parent name. You make it a family name. That means when I say 2, 2, 3, 4, what will end it will be benzene. You know, if I'm making this one, this second substituent, if I'm making it to be parent name, I won't call it phenyl again. What will I call it? I'll call it benzene. Am I communicating? If I'm making this to be, that means this one phenyl, this one that is this second substituent will not be substituent again. It will be the family name. Then this ether now, it will be with this cyclopropyl, which is the first substituent. Then they will match up to becoming a one single entity. To become a single entity. Meaning I'll be having it. That means substitutive method is a method, whereas the other substituent here will be the family name, while the ether, which is the topic that we are, is going to bind with the what? The first what? Substituent. Now let's try and name that. It will be, now if I'm naming this now in a substituted way, it will be what? Cyclo, what do we say? Propyl. Is that not what we say? We now say cyclopropyl. Oxy means what? Oxy means that there is presence of what? Ether there. So whenever you see oxy, mean ether is what is, oxygen is attached to this cyclopropyl. You just remove YN from it, then you put OYX, meaning O is at this O. From here to here, I've named that. OXY. So from here now, from this structure to this structure, I've named them. I've named it now. This is the cyclopropyl. Before cyclopropyl, before, are we together? I said we are using substitutive method, meaning I will attach this ether to it. Then when you are attaching ether to it, you won't say cyclopropyl ether again. You will now make it to be cyclopropyl. Oxy as represent ether now. Then you now make this one, the second substituent. We have used the first substituent. You make the second substituent, you make it to be the parent name, which is cyclopropyl. This is being substituent before. What do we call it? Phenyl. When it is the parent name for phenyl is what? Benzene. Is that not? It's from benzene. We remove one hydrogen from benzene, making it to be vinyl, which is the substituent. Then we want it to go back to the father. This is the child now. We want it to go back to the father. The father is now benzene. So when you are attaching oxy to the first substituent, then you write the father's name. You won't write phenyl again. It will now be what? Cyclopropyl benzene. Cyclopropyl what? Benzene. So this is the substitutive what? Method of assigning name to this one. Are we? Now let's see functional ways of attaching name to this one. Am I communicating? The functional way of attaching name, this is the first method. The functional name is that you make ether the parent name. You know here, what am I making the parent name? The parent name, this is the parent name. What end it is what we mean by the parent name. So in this functional method now, functional approach now, you make the ether that we are talking about, you make it to be the parent name. That means ether will be the one that will end or whatever you name, or whatever the substituent you name. The ether will be the one that will end it, not benzene. That is the functional ways of naming. What do we call this one? This first substituent, what do we call it? We call it cyclopropyl. Is that not? What do we call the second substituent? We call it phenyl. Hope I'm communicating. Then you will now make this one. You make it the father's name. That means that's what we end it. It will now be cyclopropyl. Are we together? What follows? Phenyl. These are the two substituents. You firstly name the substituent first. Then you will now put ether as the father's name. This is the functional way. Then ether. Cyclopropyl phenyl ether. This is the functional method of naming this particular organic structure. Then why this is the substituted what? Method of naming, substitutive method, are we, of naming this particular organic structure, are we? Cyclopropyl, this is the ether. Both are the same thing, but this one is substitutive method. This one is what? Functional method. Cyclopropyl, the ether that comes at the end here will be in the middle, oxy. Then this second branch will be the parent name. But as far as this functional one is concerned, this ether that we are talking about will be the parent name. That means the one that will end everything. Then the substituent, this is the first substituent, this is the second substituent, this one. Then you end it with ether. Open and communicating. Now let's apply all these things. Since we have understood this, let's apply it to this one. I hope this one, based on my explanation here, we are good to go here without any stress. And know that this one now, what am I going to have here? Let me put my something here. So, what am I going to have here? Let me clean this one now. That is that under that. So, let's try and name this now. This second one, that is the first one. I've explained that. This second one now, what do we have? How many substituents do we have? Are we? How many substituents do we have? We have 2 substituents as well. This is the first substituent. This is the second substituent. Why this is the ether? Are we together? The first substituent, what do we call it? I said when you have a benzene like this and there is one stick standing like this, it is called what? Phenyl. I hope you have gotten that. So now, this one, how many carbon is here? This is from aliphatic hydrocarbon. How many carbon is here? 2. And when it is 2, it is 8. Then check what bond is bonding this carbon to carbon. What is the bond? 2 bond. Which is, when we have 2 bond in aliphatic hydrocarbon, what do we call it? ENE, ethene, alkenes family. That means this particular structure, carbon, how many carbon? 2. So, which is ethene. Are we together? Because of the double bond that is there, that is why we are writing ENE. 2 carbon that is there, 8. If it is 3 carbon, propane, when it is 2 double bond. Now note that, is this really ethene? No. Because ethene, the molecular formula for ethene is C2H4. If that is the molecular formula. But let's check. 1, 2. That one has been completed. Then how many hydrogens we supposed to have for we to get ethene? 4. We have how many here? 3. When it is 3 like that, that means they remove 1 hydrogen from this ethene. When it is 3 like that, it is C2H3. We don't call it ethene again. Though it is ENE, but we don't call it ethene again. We call it what? We call it phenyl. Sorry, we call it fine. Are we together? So this particular fine, that is what we are going to, when they deduce 1 hydrogen, C2H4, when they remove 1 hydrogen from it, making C2H3, we call it what? Fine. Are we together? So this fine, are we? Then how do we represent that? That means our substituent here is fine, right? So now let's try and name it. Let me use the functional ways to name this one. What do we have? Functional name would be what you can start with from any place here. I can have it to be, or I can start with this one. It will be what? Fine. What follow? Phenyl. Then what will be the parent name? Ether. Are we together? Now, what of the substitutive method? What would that be? I can say phenoxy. This one, I can join it with this ether. It will now be what? Phenoxy Am I communicating? Then you make this one, the second substituent, the father's name, as we did for this one. It will now be phenoxy. This is now the ether now. The ether has been in the middle. Then this one will now be, what? This is fine. From where do we deduce fine? Is it not from 18, C2H4? So then you won't write fine again. You will now replace it with what? 18, which is the father's name. It will now be, it will be phenoxy 18. That is the substitutive way. This is the functional way. Now let's go to this one. This one is very simple. You can press the what? The pause button and answer this by yourself. It's very simple. What do we have here? We have phenyl here. Phenyl here. What do we have here as well as the substituent? We also have phenyl here. How many phenyl? 2 phenyl. So what do we have? Ether. When we want to name it functionally, what am I going to say? 2 phenyl, meaning what? Diphenyl. You don't say phenyl, ether. No. You say diphenyl. Since they are the same thing, you will now say di means 2. When 2 things, it will now be what? Diphenyl. Then what will be the father's name? It will be this O, which is the ether. That is the parent name. Diphenyl ether. This is the functional ways of naming that. Where ether will be the parent name. Then let's name this in a substitutive method. What would that be? You pick one substituent, you add it with this ether. We know that this one will be oxy. This one is phenyl. When you add phenyl with oxy, what would that be? It will be phenoxy. Then you make the other phenyl. You make it the parent name. You will not call it phenyl again. You will now call it what? Benzene. Because this phenyl is removed from benzene. It is dissolved from benzene. You don't have phenoxy what? Phenoxy benzene. This is the substitutive method. Why this is the what? Functional method. Now let's go back to this one. This one will be what now? It's different from this one. This one will be what? Don't be scared. It's more or less like writing it like this. How many carbon? 1, 2, 3. Are we? How many carbon here? 1, 2, 3. It's like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 attached to oxygen. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This thing is still the same thing as this. Or they just want to stress us. Are we? The same thing. So I've restructured this one to this pattern for you to get it well. It's still the same thing. Once you get this, that is the name that you assign to this. Let's use the what? Substitutive what? Method to solve this, and you will be the one to do the functional method for me. Are we together? The substitutive method for this one, it will be, how many carbon are we having? 1, 2, 3, which is pro, and it is single bond, propane. But I said they will deduce one. If you are forming, this is the, how many substituent? Firstly, this is one substituent, this another substituent. So 1, 2, 3, it is pro, and what is joining them? Single bond, which is propane. But I told you that this is a substituent. You will remove one from that, which is propyl. You will now call it propyl, not propane. When propyl is attached to oxygen, when I want to do it substitutively, what would that be? It will be propoxy. Are we? Then you make this other one. Which one? This one is how many carbon? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 carbon means what? Means boots. And how many bond is joining them? Single bond, which is butane. Are we together? So if I'm using substitutive method, so this substituent becomes the parent name. While this substituent will attach with this oxy, you will call this one oxy, you won't call it ether again. That is the substitutive. Now this one will be this is propyl now. When you attach propyl with oxy, what would that be? Propoxy. You will remove this YL from it. It will now be what? Propoxy. Am I communicating? 1, 2, 3. Propoxy. This is the ether that is there. Then this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Butane. You don't call it butyl. It's becoming the parent name now. It will be what? Butane. Then what I want you to do for me, what will now be the functional name for this one? And let me give you one more structure. When you have, when you have oxygen here and you have another one here, name this for me. substitutive method and use functional method to name this one. You know that this also fall on what? Cyclic, alicyclic chain as this. So it is in a cyclic form, but it will use cyclohexane. This is the eta, this is the final, then name them like this. That's one. Then name this for me as well. So name this. This is also cyclic, but they are not aromatic. This is how many carbon? 1, 2, 3, 4. Cyclobutane, because they are single bond. Cyclobutane. Then name it using substitutive approach or functional approach. Name this one to using substitutive approach, functional approach. That is that under that. If you find this video very helpful, don't forget to like, share, and also subscribe. This video is mainly concerned for the A-level students, those at 100 level. Even at Kwara Poly, we discussed something on this during our 100 level and the one. So please and please, Kwara Poly students, this is how you assign name to anything that has to do with eta present. So barakallahu fikum. I still remain my humble self, AKOREDEOLUWAYINKAHASSAN, and source academic online class. Don't forget to press the notification button in order to view more of our video. So that is that under that. Bye.